This is how to make your braided cord for your tassels. You're going to start off with your double jump ring, or also known as a split ring. You're going to take this and a, what is this called? A needle ring. It's for yarn. It is a crochet hook. I don't know what size this is, but you're gonna use this. You're gonna run it through the loop this way. Hold on to it here. You're gonna grab one of the 30-inch strings of yarn that you cut, wrap it over the hook like this, and all you're gonna do is simply run this ring over the top like that. And then you're gonna pull it through, and now you can pull one end out. So this just makes it a little bit easier. If your yarn is small enough, you can just simply run it through. You won't need to use a hook. But this yarn in particular is kind of thick, and I'm putting 3 strands in it, so I'm gonna use the hook. Now you do this exact same thing for this one. So put the hook through, grab your yarn, push it through the loop, pull it through, and pull the end. Do the same thing for the last one. Okay, so now we have all of the strands through the ring here, and I'm going to even them out. Make sure that the ends are both even. And this part I'm going to make sure is in the middle. So the strands are 30 inches. So this part is going to be in the middle. So that would be the 15th inch. And right now it is, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 is right here. This is the middle for me. And then I'm going to put this on. Go, just like that. Okay, now what you're going to want to do is put them in half here. So now we have 3 strands on each side, 15 inches on each side, and you're going to want to make a braid. I would suggest putting like a piece of tape here, something heavy to hold this down, so that way you can make your braid. So we're gonna use those 2 together. Okay. These 2 together, and this one. See how they are? Each one. Okay, then once you have that, then you can start making your braid. So let me get a piece of tape. can start braiding, just like a regular braid. And you want to make it kind of tight too. Oops. And you're just going to go all the way down. So you can see how it starts making the braid. So here is my corded braid. I braided it, see? And I went down about 5.5 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5, okay? And I'm going to make a knot here. This is how I'm gonna make my knot. Wrap it around 2 fingers. Twist this a little bit, just so it makes it a little bit easier. Pull it through. Make sure you get all the strands. And then I am going to make my knot. It's going to be kind of big. Let me measure it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Move it down a little bit here. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. It's about there. Okay. And then just tighten it up. Also, what I do is I will compare it to a tassel that I've already made to make sure that they are pretty even. See? And they are. There we go, so you can see. Okay, that looks good. I'm just going to pull the strands to make sure that my knot is tight. Good, here we go. And now you have your braided cord for your tassel, just like that. And what we're gonna do is separate these in between. So we have 3 on one side and 3 on the other side. And I will show you the next step. Now to make that actual tassel, you're going to use some kind of a box or a board of, this one is just a PS5 game that I'm using. And I'm going to wrap it around this way. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inches in length. Okay. I'm going to hold it down here with my thumb. And then I'm just going to wrap it around 50 times. This is a pretty thick yarn, so I'm only going to do it 50 times. It's going to make a nice medium-sized fluffy tassel, which is what I want. But if you want a super fluffy tassel, you can wrap it around more. Or if you have a thinner yarn, you would want to wrap it around more than 50 times. So here we go. Start wrapping 50 times around, and I will show you what that looks like in the end. Okay, so I've wrapped it around 50 times. Here's the end. All I'm going to do is get my scissors and cut it off. Okay, so you can see I cut it there. Move the yarn aside. Then I am going to remove it from the box. Here, make sure you've got a good hold on all the strands when you take it off. Okay, so I've got my fingers wrapped all around it. I'm gonna do this. See that? Okay, now I'm gonna grab my scissors, go through the center, and I'm going to cut them off. the yarn cut in half. You are going to get the corded part that we did earlier here with the 3 strands out. I'm going to put it this way. Have enough room here. And if you wanted to, because you can see how some of the strands are a little bit uneven already, you can kind of make them even, pull them on one side, you know, bring it in a little if you want to. If not, you don't have to, because you're going to end up cutting it anyway to make it even. So all you do is grab all the string, put it down here, and you're going to want to make sure that this is in the middle. So from one end to the other end, I'm going to count how many inches are in between, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 inches from one side to one side. So that, which means that 8 inches would be the center part. So I'm going to count to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is right here. So let me just move this a little bit down so that way I'm mostly in the center. Okay. And I'm going to grab these two. I'm going to tie a knot. Well, I'm not going to tie a knot first. I'm just going to make a tie here. And then I'm going to measure to make sure I'm in the middle. So I'm going to measure this. Okay. I'm going to lift it up because I want to make sure that this is on the bottom and that my tie is directly on the other end. Okay, so here's that. Looks like my tie is a little bit off. Let me redo this. Okay, so I fixed it, and now I'm going to redo my little tie here. Okay. And let's double check this is in the middle. And it is mostly. Let me fix it a little bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to make it tighter. And when I did that, this moved a little bit to the side, so I'm going to fix it. I'm going to move this down. Move my knot. Here we are. So now this is they're directly underneath each other. Here's the top of the braided cord, and then my knot up here. So now I'm just going to tie it a little bit tighter and make a knot with these 3. It all. Nope. I'm missing one. Where is it? Here we go. All right. And push the knot down. And make it really tight. Pull on the yarn to make sure that the knot is tight as it can be. Okay, just like that. So here we are, here's the knot, and then we flip it over. Here's the cord. Now you can fix it a little bit. And now we're going to make the bulb part of the tassel. To make the bulb part of your tassel, you're going to get the tassel, and you have your 30-inch string laid out right in front of you. You're gonna find the middle, which would be the 15-inch mark. For me, that is right here. And you're going to lay out your tassel on top, just like that. Then you're going to get the two ends, wrap them around, and tighten. So you can make your little bulb. Here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare this size to a tassel that I've already made, so that way I can make sure that they're pretty much the same, and they are. That looks good. So now that I like where this is at, I'm going to tighten some more here. I'm going to go around the opposite end, and I'm going to tie a knot here. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. Let me do, actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to wrap it around and tie it, and then I'm going to make my knot. Real tight. There we go. Now we have these two strands. So what you're going to do with these two strands is you're simply going to wrap it all around so it looks nice and pretty. I'm going to do it kind of tight here, all the way around. And when you get to the part where you have the loose ends, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a crochet hook, and I'm going to push it through right here underneath. I'm going to grab those ends with the hook, and then I'm going to tuck them in to hide them. You get this part here and tuck it in, just like that. There we go. And the ends are tucked in. And you can go around and kind of pull on these to fix the bulby part that maybe bothers you a bit. And now, for the final step is to cut the ends off even. So if you can grab with one hand, push all the way down. You see how it's all different here? You're gonna wanna cut that off. Get your scissors, watch your hand, make sure you don't cut your hand, and then just cut the ends off. Watch your fingers.
There's your tassel.